You got it. Woo!
Since this Sunday is about death to life, I wanted to share my testimony that it really, it's the biggest thing of my life that has ever happened under my marriage, actually. But either way, my journey in life before Jesus, I started off, I was just alone, and I had anger issues. Like passion in life was just not there. I kind of just lost like drive, and part of that mainly was because I had an addiction, and I couldn't break out of it. And I remember looking every day in the mirror, every morning, looking at myself saying, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Why am I still doing this? And that was like 5 years before I stopped doing it. And it was constant, every day, every day. And then I met Michaela, and I fell in love, obviously. And being in a relationship with someone you love it's great, but it's really hard to make something of it when you're not healthy yourself. And I think God sent her because then he took her away from me. We had to break up, and that was the hardest thing I've ever went through. I think that if that didn't happen, I would probably still be in a bad place. With her gone, I then saw my true brokenness. I saw that I needed something constant, a father more than an earthly father. And at that time, little did I know I was being prayed for every day by friends and family and churches that I didn't even know existed, apparently, which was crazy to find out. In losing her, I gained an amazing friend, which is her dad. He basically called me and said, listen, man, I've been where you are. I know what you need to do. And right now, you need to go to church. You need to be at church right now. So I, questioned it as I questioned religion my entire life, and I went. And I was told to read the gospel, and I did that because I had no other place to go. I was pretty broken, and I read the gospel, and I continued to go to church, and a few weeks of questioning, I became a Christian, and my life started to change from there. That night I was crying, I was a mess. My fellow brothers at church must have thought, wow, this kid is going through it, but I did it. I dedicated my life. I was still using my addiction. I was still using that as a crutch. I was still heartbroken. And then I got prayed for by a great person who recognized a fellow Christian in need of prayer. And God took my addiction into his hands. I'll never forget the night. I went home, I did my usual ritual, and I started to drive home down a dark road, and I watched my vision in front of me while driving shrink to about a pencil-thin hole. It was the scariest thing of my life. And I just remember getting home and being like, I'm never doing that again. And since that day, I've been healed. Matt, the miracle. Never again have I ever thought of or wanted to touch any kind of drug. So,
amen.
Whew. Yeah. So now what? I kept praying. I knew that I was in a better place, and I said, God, I'm a Christian man. I'm healed. Why don't I have the love of my life back yet? What's going on? So I continued to read and pray about my life and about Michaela and her healing, and having God send her back to me. And through that journey, I'll never forget reading the gospel. I read it first when I became a Christian, then I read it again when I was really in it. And I remember just sitting there. I don't remember what verse I was reading. But I remember closing my eyes after and just all of a sudden being there at the cross and seeing Jesus' tears and his pain. And I was like, it was no longer a story to me anymore. It was reality. It was real. It happened. And it was for us. It just will never be a question again. You know, it was real. Woo. So I started to become a little bit closer to God, to the point where I can fight with him now. So I was kind of saying, Father, what else do I need to do? I'm here. I'm in your hands. I need her back. I am so broken. I said, that's it. This is the final prayer. I'm not praying for her ever again. I just, send her to me. I'll marry her. I'll be with her forever. I'll be the best husband I possibly can. And if not, then please give me a sign, because I'm done. My phone dinged probably 30 seconds after I said amen. And it was her texting me, telling me that she misses me. I ghosted her, though. I didn't text her right back, because I knew if I texted her right back, I'd show weakness. I gave it a couple of days. But I just remember the first time seeing her as a Christian and me as a Christian, both in the Lord's hands. It was, a veil was torn. We looked at each other with new eyes. Oh, yeah. It was insane. It was crazy. And then I was baptized. I'm sorry, reading a little bit of notes. I don't even know if I'm looking at them right anymore, but yeah, it was a transformation unlike any other. It was from thanks, babe. It was from serious, just a catacomb of death, just being strangled in a cage, to just being alive, seeing and feeling real things. I don't think it was just from being clean and being clear-headed. I think it has a lot to do with having hope that Jesus gave us. Actually having a future, actually having a reason, to share this story. Whew. Yeah. So either way, I just want to say that that's my story. I know I've been here for 2 years now. Not everyone knows that. And anyone that went through this, it's like we are in a place now where we are a garden. We're not graves anymore. And so many things flourished from that. Relationships. I forgive myself. I play in an awesome band with you guys. I prayed for music my entire life, and this is it. This is the best place to be. But there's no end game with that. It's like a garden needs tending. Sometimes you need to pull weeds. Sometimes there's a season of cold or droughts. But there's other plants around you to help you survive. And you just keep pushing. The battle isn't over. We have the tools right now to overcome hardship, and with Jesus we can do that.